Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Midsommar. So I don't have a floral crown. Sorry, I am not quite Coachella enough. I don't own one. But this kind of flowery, hipstery H&M. Sure, we'll have to do. Midsommar could also be titled White People Are At It Again. That definitely ran through my mind watching this film, if I'm being honest. But for an actual plot, it tells the story of a woman, Dani, who is grieving after the loss of her parents, who decides to go on a trip to Sweden with her boyfriend and his friends, in the process learning that this small community is a little bit more crazy in their rituals than she initially believed. And her boyfriend, well, isn't really a good boyfriend in the process. Now, I loved Hereditary. I thought it was pretty fantastic with some really, really haunting imagery in there and an expert film in building horror tension. I was more than excited to get Ari Aster's follow-up to that film. And I have to say he delivered again, but this time it's full of brightly lit composition and nice flower crowns everywhere to be seen. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. Well, I'm going to talk about Ari Aster to begin because I think his direction is magnificent in this movie. Right off the bat, you get a really distinct elevated feel from the film based on the direction. I love how we start off the movie not cutting back and forth between people as they speak, but he uses a really cool kind of technique of mirrors to just stay on one shot. We see the second person in the dialogue in mirrors and in reflections, and I really liked that. I thought it was an awesome way to show both people in the conversation without having to have these cut reaction shots over and over. Very stylized, but very cool. Also, you get a distinct feel of madness early on as we're driving into this Swedish town and everything flips upside down. We're swirling. It's really crazy, but a really effective technique. And those type of directive feelings are also there as we move throughout the film. We're introduced to drugs early on in this Swedish adventure, and the camera work definitely keeps that feeling strong throughout the entire film. I also really commend him for doing this really brightly lit daytime horror. We don't get much of that. And it's really interesting to set it in a kind of cult feeling and, again, have most of the terrifying images come right there in the daylight. It's not really hidden. It's not really disguised. It's just there, staring you brightly in the face. And they don't shy away from some gruesomeness. Pretty early on in the film, we are introduced to some gruesome rituals right off the bat. But Ari Aster has a great way of unfolding metaphors without having to explain them. This is very in line, actually, with what he did in Hereditary, where we're dealing with a sort of grief and dealing with grief through kind of unsavory rituals. Much like Hereditary, it's a theme he likes to play with. Both of our main characters are dealing with the loss of their mother in particular as well. Though this one definitely focuses on the relationship and toxic, not great relationships in general. And kind of coming to terms with that as we move along throughout the film. Also, I really enjoyed how Ari Aster kind of showed metaphorically the ways of this little group of people and how they try to assimilate in and feeling family and this connectivity amongst them. I think at first it's jarring. There were definitely some laughs in my theater, so I don't know that everyone's gonna love it, but I think as it goes on, it becomes more haunting than laugh-worthy. Now, Florence Pugh, I want to highlight her specifically to begin speaking on our actors because she is amazing in this film. She's so expressive, she's so fantastic, and I really enjoyed her performance throughout the film. Her cries and her screams are really haunting in and of themselves, and she's just a revelation. Highly understated performance for a good portion of the film, but it's such a transformative performance, and it makes those big moments stand out even more. Jack Reynor, I think, is also really good in the movie. Honestly, our entire cast is very strong. All of the villagers are really great in the roles they need to play in creating this really off type of atmosphere. And there's definitely some haunting stuff in here. You see some gruesome stuff, you see some haunting stuff. Much like Hereditary, it's a slow burn type of psychological horror. And I happen to really like psychological horror such as that. And it's pretty much expertly crafted, I would say. I think as we move through the film, you, more so than having things explained or having overt instances of insanity per se, you're put into the situation with the camera, with the direction, with the cinematography. Everything about it just adds and kind of puts you into the place of where our characters are. And I thought that, I mean, it's just expertly crafted to me. And what I really love about it is that it keeps you thinking. I was certainly thinking and realizing things that were planted, little lines of dialogue that come full circle, and just these little breadcrumbs that are left throughout the film for you to unfold and realize as we go along. And I love that about this film. I loved it about Hereditary as well. I know I'm going to think about this film a lot after seeing it. Already I was analyzing it on my way home, and I know I'm just going to kind of keep coming back to it and back to it for some time. When they're done well, those are films I really enjoy delving into. What doesn't work so well in the film? Well, it falls into actually some horror tropes, if I'm being honest. Some it subverts and flips on their head, but others it kind of plays into. One of which is that our characters do some really stupid things. A lot of things are catapulted because our characters do some stupid things. And as a person, let me just tell you, I'd have been out. And if anybody tried to grab me or if anybody tried to like do anything, no. I'd have been out, you'd have been knocked out, you'd have been swiped down. These little white Swedish people would have gotten the fight of their life, let me tell you. And that's the main thing for me, is just like, what in the world? Y'all, sane people would have been gone. There wouldn't have been no staying a single night after I saw what I saw. And that's just it. I wouldn't be waiting for no cars or nobody to take me to the airport. I'm starting to walk now, and I'm arming myself quick. I'm also going to have to sit on the ending message of this film a little bit longer. I'm not going to go into what happens or what's going on at the very end, but it left me thinking for sure, but also trying to dissect what the ultimate message is here. What are we saying about everything in the film? And again, I can't say too much because obviously this is a spoiler-free review, but I'm on the fence. But ultimately, I think this is a pretty amazing film. It is out there. It is weird. It has some really jarring stuff, so just be prepared. Know that you're not going in for a mainstream horror film. This is much more psychological horror. Honestly, psychological horror crafted expertly, if you ask me. So if that sounds like your jam, if you're down for an acid trip of a film, then I would give this a full price ticket. I really think it is some quality stuff. But if you're squeamish, if you don't like these slow burn horror films, then you could just skip this one. I don't think it's going to really convert you. If you're a horror fan in general, but these slow burns aren't your jam, give it a rental. I think it's safe to watch it at home without the risk of you just completely rejecting it. So that's my review of Midsommar. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Midsommar, or have you already seen it? And if you have, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!